Some cases go cold because the killer vanishes. Others, because no one survives to tell the tale. Cyrus Black is dead. The dreams may have ended, but one truth kept clawing at me. Cyrus Black didn't act alone. Someone was feeding him victims. Someone still alive, and I was going to find him, by any means necessary. Rafael Mendez. They call me the Walker. I am a myth, a legend, a mysterious detective. I close unsolved crimes that others would rather classify as beyond normal. But to me, it's just my regular job. A tip came through from someone who knew too much. Called himself El Hone. He said he'd seen a man pass victims directly to Cyrus. Said the man's name was Alric Vane. He seemed suspicious, but I had bigger fish to fry. Alric Vane supposedly offered dolls and personal possessions to a deity a couple of times. Items representing the victims. Elijah and I missed it the last time we were here. A name scribbled at the bottom of an unfiled document. Alric Vane was a thread, and I planned to pull it. Alric Vane was always on the move. Hard to track, but after some effort, I managed to track him down to the middle of nowhere. He admitted to feeding victims to Cyrus Black. Cyrus compensated him well. He told me that Cyrus's time was almost running out. Feeding on the victims was no longer enough. He was in search of a strong host through whom he could fully return to this world in flesh. But when I asked who Cyrus worked for, he shook so hard I thought he'd pass out.
Cyrus called it a name I never heard. He said it wasn't of this world. He said it listened when no one else did.
No one else listened to little Cyrus. Not the priests, not the staff, not even God. But something did. It listened from the dark. That night, he made a pact with something that listened from beneath the veil of dreams, and it gave him the power to make others listen, through pain. Alric Vane handed me the coordinates to a barn in town. He told me to expose a hidden sigil, and it will all begin. Anais called me the moment the symbols on her tarot cards flipped. She said the current had shifted. Something deep was rising again. Something that targeted me. Dr. Maya Voss had no name for it, just a warning. If it was still listening, I had to be the one to make it stop. At the barn, I uncovered the same sigil from the orphanage, same binding glyphs Cyrus used. But this wasn't a summoning circle. It was a prison, and someone had broken it open.
You're too late, Walker. He's already waking up. And he remembers you.
That was Alric Vane's voice, but it couldn't have been him. Unless I was losing my mind. I know I had just put him behind bars myself. Elijah Klein was off the case, but when dreams started again, he got on the next train. Said the last thing he wanted was to let me face whatever was coming, alone. I met with a waitress at a diner, a person of interest. The dreams should have stopped, but she said she'd been dreaming of a symbol for weeks. The same symbol as the black sun sigil Cyrus had. Same whispers, only now, the whispers were calling to me. I never feared the dark, but that night, I remembered what it meant to be watched. Because this time, the dreams weren't theirs. They were mine. For the past few weeks, an alarming number of children had been sleepwalking, one by one, in the middle of the night. We called them the sleepwalking cases. Some kids didn't make it back. Most had no memory, but they all shared one thing: the mark. The kid was the 7th this month. No material connection between any of them, but all had dreamed of a chamber that hummed. Ananias found a strange, old manuscript in an abandoned library, a place of interest in the case.
Drexxel. Never heard of it before, but it feels like a splinter in my mind. I think it's a function, the receiver, the one who listens.
Another sleepwalking case. The little one said she saw me in her dreams, burning with light. She said the shadows hated me, that they were coming faster now. My pocket watch never activated on its own, unless it needed to, and that night, it shone bright like it remembered something it didn't want to. This ain't just a watch, Rafa. It's our legacy. Believe from the depths of your heart, and you're gonna be just fine. Stay true to your heart, and never let this watch fall into the wrong hands. I never got to ask my father about the watch's power. I just know that it has helped me out of real tight spots, more times than I can count.
It didn't choose Cyrus first. It wanted your father, many years ago. But he was too strong, so it chose Cyrus, a broken alternative. Now it wants you.
The dark room that Cyrus's victims and I had dreamt of wasn't just a dream. It was a meeting point. And every victim had been led there first, asleep. Before Cyrus Black died and became a dream parasite, he came here, more than once, not to pray, but to listen, because that's where it spoke to him. Something pulled me in, not gently, not like sleep. It yanked me like meat, past the veil of dreams, into something that looked like it was stitched together from memory. It looked like Cyrus, but it wasn't. He was empty, nothing behind his eyes, just a vessel. Someone else was speaking through his skin.
Cyrus was foolish. Thought I'd let him live again. He was merely my mask. But you, Rafael, you are the door I've been waiting for. The door through which I will permanently get rid of this loathsome grip.
Loathsome grip. I didn't know what that meant. I'm not sure I cared, because the warning was a bigger problem. It wasn't done. And worse, it knew my name. Every child sleepwalker, every victim, every dream pulse, they all pointed to one intersection. A place no one lived. A place the city forgot. No power lines, no signal, no animals. Just silence and a cold wind that didn't come from the sky. Elijah didn't like it. Neither did I. This place was the physical anchor of the dark room we all dreamt of. A room meant to speak back, or maybe to echo whatever listened beyond it. This was where it fed. These were not sacrifices. They were the lures. Each item belonged to a victim, a way to anchor their presence here to get fed on, a way to invite them back. It knew me. It had spoken to some of its victims in my voice, in dreams, in thoughts, in pain. That creepy shadow lurking behind us, we weren't aware of its presence, but the closer it got, the more the pocket watch trembled. That piercing sound from the pocket watch, hearing it, always meant an evil that needed severing was close by. I had to learn how to use the watch myself. My father never told me the things I needed to know. My father wasn't always a detective. Before that, he was an exorcist. And during a case no one would talk about, he was given something.
You set a dance where others trembled. You will not set it free.
With a mark on his palm, the ability to sever evil from this world was received. He sealed the sigil into a silver pocket watch, our family heirloom, something he would pass on to me. A gift, a warning, a legacy, hidden in plain sight. The watch wasn't just a tool. It was a key, as much as it was a weapon, always creating a way out of any supernatural confinement. But not this time. I had to face my demons before leaving. Perhaps the watch could read my thoughts, so maybe that's how it knew we were dealing with something too strong to just run away. It tried to attack me. Elijah shot at it. Then it just vanished. I wasn't sure if it was his bullet that did the trick or something else, but one thing was certain. Whatever watched us wasn't watching anymore. It was moving, and it was afraid, because I held the one thing that could sever it from this world. After the shadow disappeared, a doorway emerged from a corner of the chamber. I knew before we stepped through that we may be the prey on the other side, rather than the hunters. But we went in anyway. This tunnel was the physical passageway that linked our world with the dream realm, an alternative route to its domain, aside from the nightmares. It felt like falling between thoughts, like we'd stepped into the mouth of something that wouldn't stop chewing. It looked imagined, a beast from nightmares, but real enough to make every inch of me freeze. It threw Elijah away, pinned him to a wall. Elijah's mouth moved, but I heard nothing. It didn't want to kill him, only just to silence him, because its fight was with me. It tried to attack me with its tendrils, but with my transformed watch, I slashed them off. Its face was indiscernible, but I could tell that it instantly felt a different kind of pain, one that brings back memories, memories it never wanted to face again. It said if it couldn't have me, then it would kill me, and I should have died. I felt the pain, the cold, the world slipping, but death didn't take. That was when I knew something had changed me, something deeper than flesh, and I was going to find out what it was. This, Rafa, is the only thing I can leave you, that the darkness fears. I never understood what my father said back then, but after Anais told me that he was Drexxel's first target, I now think he knew that Drexxel would come for me.
You're supposed to be dead. How are you still alive, unhurt?
Beats me.
I see. So you've been graced, and you don't even know it.
What grace? What do you mean? was the first time I heard of such a thing. I asked what it meant, but the thing had already reduced to nothing. We'd closed the gate, but the questions were just beginning. What grace? Who graced me? Why? I slept peacefully the next night, and then something came to my dream.
You have done well, Rafael Mendez. Drexxel was one of my creations, a nightmare. He strayed, causing harm to many. You corrected that. Though I had my grip on him, he always found a loophole, a means to slip away.
Who are you?
I am the Lord of Dreams. You, on the other hand, have been graced with supernatural immortality. You shall not perish by any supernatural means. For that reason, you escaped death by Drexxel's hands.
Graced? By whom? And why?
In time, Raphael. All things in time.
He didn't answer my questions, but in time, the truth he gave me would prove to be one of my most valuable knowledge. I had finally closed the case, truly closed this time. One thing was certain: I would come across another case that's beyond normal. Or maybe it would come to me. It always ends, or begins, with one or the other.